Welcome to the session, all of you. Today in this video, we are going to have a quick look at the IFT examination, and we'll also see how you can go about preparing for the IFT exam. It's about 25 days from now on for the IFT exam, which is to be held on the 5th of December. And we'll see as to how you can manage your time between the CAT and the IFT and prepare for IFT as you go along the preparation for CAT 2. So today in this agenda, I'm going to take you through the selection criteria of IFT because it's important to understand the selection criteria, because if you know the selection criteria, you'll also know how to look forward for this exam. We'll look at the IFT examination, what the highlights of it, basically what the exam is like. We'll also go in a little bit deeper to understand the pattern of the exam and the cutoff of the examination before we go on to looking at how you can prepare for the exam. So first and foremost, if I look at the selection criteria of IFT, this has been changing in the last few years, because earlier when we looked at the selection criteria, it was mostly only about the IFT examination. But now it is not so, and there's a lot of change which has come into the IFT in the last 2 years. Okay, so exam is online, and the way they look at the exam also has changed, and the kind of candidates that they're looking forward to in the institution is also slightly now different as compared to what it was, let's say, 5 years ago. Now, if you look at the stages of the examination, you need to first of all write the exam. And once you write the exam, you will get the score of your examination. And based on your score and various other criteria which are in place, you will be called for an interview process. Now, this interview process has got a WAT, which is a written ability test. And then you have a group discussion, then followed by a personal interview. Now, all these three will only be conducted for those students who are selected for the VAT GDPI round, which is basically the second stage of the selection process. After you go through the second stage of the selection process, there will be a merit list which will be out by the month of April. And based on that merit list, you will come to know whether you have been selected for IFT or not, or have you been put on a waiting list, or have you been rejected from the entire process, right? So let's get in and understand now how this entire process works. Now, after you have written the IFT examination, by somewhere about end of December, you should be getting the IFT scorecard. And based on this IFT scorecard, you will also get a shortlist. Now, the shortlist will consider 73% weightage for the IFT exam itself. So the IFT examination is a major part of your selection into the second round. So which is, if you're getting selected and if you want to go for the GDPI, you need to do really, really well in your IFT examination, and 73% weightage is for the IFT examination. Now, apart from that, they also have weightages for 10th and 12th marks, which is 10% each. There is absolutely no weightage for your graduation. And then you have the academic diversity, which is basically an engineer or non-engineer. Non-engineers get 5% extra. Engineers don't get anything extra because engineering does not come under the academic diversity criteria of IFT. Also, there is a gender diversity point. So you get 2% extra for gender diversity. So which means if you're a female candidate, you will be having 2% extra marks given to you for gender diversity. Now, if you look at the 10th and the 12th marks, if you've got anything less than 55% in your 10th and 12th, you will only get 1 mark for that 10% which is mentioned there. So let's say you got only 50% mark in your 12th, then you will only get 1 point in your 12th. But let's say you had 90% in your 10th, so you will get 8 points for that. So totally you will get 9 points out of the 20%, right? So less than 55, 1 point, and the maximum is greater than 90, in which case you'll get 10 points. So this is a scaling which IFT considers for that 10% marks given in both 10th and 12th. So it's same for the 10th and 12th. So there's no difference out there. Now, based on all this criteria, that's your IFT examination score, your 10th standard mark, 12th standard mark, academic diversity, and the gender diversity. They will now make a list of candidates to be called for the interview process. After you get into the interview process, there are, as I said, the WAT, the group discussion, which is written ability test, which is a short essay that you will have to write based on a topic given to you. And you'll be given about 30 minutes to write that topic. And you typically need to write it in about 300 to 400 words. So that's the WAT. And then you have the group discussion followed by an interview, which is the personal interview, right? So all these three will have weightages, and these weightages will be considered for your final selection. Now, what are the weightages like? So you have IFT examination has got 45% weightage. The examination still plays a major role in your entire selection process. You have interviews, which is 20%, VAT, which is 10%, GD, which is 10%. Then your 10th and 12th mark will contribute to 4% each. Your academic diversity contributes to 2%, work gender diversity 2%, and work experience 3%. Now, work experience less than 12 months has got zero marks in it. And the maximum that you can get is 3% weightage on your work experience, which is for people with 3 years of experience, right? So that's how this entire final selection will be done. So all this is a part of your final selection criteria. But as you can see, IFT examination holds the key, because you need to first of all get into the interview process. And then even after the interview process is over, there is 45% weightage given to the IFT's examination score. So that means that you need to be really, really gunning for a high score. And you are not just wanting to clear cutoff, but you would like to clear IFT with a huge margin, so that you get an advantage while you get into the interview room, and also while you come out of the interview room when you are, looking forward to your final selection process. Okay, so that's the reason why I shared the selection criteria with you, so that you have an understanding of how the selection is made, and that will also give you an understanding of what you need to gun for. Okay. Now, if you look at the IFT exam, as I said, has changed in the past so many years, but the number of test takers haven't changed much, because in the last 6-7 years that I have seen people taking the exam, the number of test applicants have remained from 30,000 to 34,000. And the number of test takers typically will be about 28 to 29,000. Last year, it was 28,000 and 34,000. So there were about 34,000 people who applied for the last year's IFT examination, and about 28,000 people who wrote the exam. Now, there are total of 500 plus seats in IFT, 258 in Delhi and 253 in Kolkata. About 2,000 people are called for the interview process. Now, these people who are called for the interview process will be there for general category, the NCOBC, EWS, and the SC/ST category. Okay, so all of them will be called, and all of them put together, there'll be about 2,000 people called for the interview, which is about 1:3 to 1:4 kind of a ratio in which we call. So 2,000 I have taken as a optimistic figure. There has been years when it has been less, and it was somewhere about 1:3.5 or something like that. Okay, so that's how they will look forward to calling students for the final interview calls. Now, what does this mean? This means that, you need to be somewhere in the bracket of 90 to 94 percentile in your, if you belong to the general category, and if you have an extremely good 10th and 12th mark and a work experience, and you come under gender diversity, then at 90 to 94, you can expect to, get into the interview room. But if you don't belong, let's say you're an engineer, you're a male, and you don't have work experience, you're a fresher, then you're going to look forward to a 98 plus percentile to actually get that advantage in the interview room, as well as out of the interview room when you're looking at this final selection process, right? So keep that in mind. Although you may get a call at 90 to 94%, that's not what we are looking forward to. We are looking forward to cracking a 98, 99 percentile in this examination, so that you get that advantage for your final selections. Now, what is the examination pattern like? So the IFT examination has got 4 sections. Total marks is 300. 1/3 mark is negative. And then you have a test duration of two hours. It's a 2 hours paper, and a pretty much simple paper. The paper has been online for the last 2 years. And this paper earlier was a paper-based exam. And the number of questions in the paper last year was 110 questions. Okay, although this may vary, I don't know. But looks like, because NTA is conducting the exam again, so probably it may remain almost similar or same is what we are expecting. There is no sectional time in this paper, so which means you can scroll across the paper, you can write the paper as you wish, you can put maximum marks in your maximum score in your strength areas, and then look forward to cracking this exam with the highest possible score. Also, by clearing the sectional cutoff, because there is a sectional cutoff in this examination, and this sectional cutoff, if you don't clear, however high you may score overall, you may not be able to get a call. Okay, so that's important to keep in mind, that sectional cutoff is important for you, and it will require you to clear those minimum marks to get into the final cutoffs. Okay, I'm now going to take you through and let you know how it was last year when we looked at the paper. So as per 21-23 batch IFT, which was conducted last year, that is in 2021 January, the exam that happened. And if you see, the QA section had 25 questions, LRDI had 30. VRC had 35 and the GK section had 20. It was 3 marks per question for QA, LRDI and VRC, whereas for GK, each question was for 1.5 marks. Now, there was a negative marking of 1 in each one of QA, LRDI and VRC section, whereas 0.5 for the GK section. So that means a total of 75 marks for QA, 90 marks for LRDI and 105 marks for VRC. So that is the 3 sections here. And then you had 30 marks for your GK section. Now, last year's VRC paper was extremely easy kind of a paper. So which means that, people scored really high in the VRC section. And VRC normally is quite easy in the IFT papers, right? And QA had the least among the 3 sections, QA, LRDI and VRC, in terms of the maximum marks which was allotted to them. Now the thing is, because you can scroll across section, if you're going to sit and do all the QA questions, 25 questions, then you may not get time to actually look at the other section. So anyway, more questions in QA doesn't make much sense. 25 questions is a reasonable number of questions to actually look at. And if you're very strong at QA and LRDI, you can crack the paper. If you're very strong at VRC, you can still crack the paper. So it's a beautiful paper that you can look forward to. Whichever way you want to look at the paper, you can go ahead and look forward to build a strategy for yourself to crack the paper by scoring minimum marks in each of the section to clear the cutoff, and then maximizing in your favorite sections to get into that 120 plus kind of a range in the final marks. So totally there were 110 questions and maximum mark was 300. In fact, last year, if you look at the cutoff marks, the 99 percentile for each section went at 39 marks for QA, 40 marks for LRDI, 60 marks for VRC, and 16 marks for GK. And this is, I'm giving you these percentiles from after taking it out from the final scorecard of my students who had actually written the exam. So these are accurate numbers. QA is 39, LRDI 40, VRC 60, and GK 16, where the 99 percentile for 2021-23 each section. Okay, so QA 99 went at 39, LRDI 99 percentile went at 40, VRC 99 went at 60, and GK 99 went at 16 marks. Now see, you don't need to score 99 percentile in each section to crack a 99 percentile overall. Even if you would have, so most of my students who actually scored a 99 percentile went on to score a high 99 onto one of the section. And then they had a 90 percentile in the rest of the section. In fact, some of them had even one of their sections in their 80s. Okay, so it is still quite possible to, get into that scores, but try to actually maximize whatever you can. So now when I'm saying 39 marks in QA, that is about 13 to 15 questions, assuming you get 1 or 2 questions wrong or 1 question wrong. LRDI 40 marks will be 14 to 16 questions attempted. VRC 60 marks is 20 to 25 questions attempted, and GK 10 to 12 questions attempted. So you know very well now that, it's quite a possible kind of a score to get into that 99% if you're strong in each of these sections. Now, the tentative sectional cutoffs that we are going to look forward to while we are doing the mock. So I'm getting into how to, when you're taking mock, what should you be looking at? So the basic minimum that you should be looking forward to while you are taking the mock in each of these sections is a QA of 20, which is 6 to 7 questions, LRDI of 20, which is again 6 to 7 questions, VRC about 30, which is 10 to 12 questions. And I'll come to it as to why I'm telling 30, because VRC has got RCs, and these RCs are not like your CAT RCs, and these are very easy RCs to look at. Okay, so it's there's a lot of factual question in these RCs, and it's much easier to actually score marks. And then GK, you can look at getting about 10 marks by getting somewhere about 7 to 8 marks. Now overall, 110 to 115 is what you should gun for in your mocks, and these are basically for mocks that I am talking about. Okay. And because the exact cutoff, sectional cutoff, we'll only come to know after we see the paper. But when you're taking the mocks, gun for this, because this will actually help you go there and crack the examination, right? So which means you are going to look at somewhere about 35 to 40 questions to be attempted in that 2 hours of the IFT paper. So 110 to 115 marks, I'm straight away dividing it by 3. And I'm assuming that you would get some 4-5 questions in your GK correct, or 10 questions in your GK correct, 10 marks in your GK. So that is what will take you to that 35 to 40 kind of a range of questions that you can look forward to, right? So as I said, these are mock targets and these are not what we are looking forward as a sectional cutoff. But if you get this, you should be able to clear all the sections comfortably, even in your final IFT examination. Now, the general range of cutoff for general candidates, although IFT's cutoffs vary quite a lot, but in general, when you're looking at this online paper now, you should be looking at somewhere about 100 to 125 marks if you're a general candidate, depending on the difficulty level of the mock that you're taking. EWS about 90 to 105, NCOBC about 90 to 100, and SC candidates about 75 to 85. So this is the typical range in which, you know, the cutoff scores may vary. Now, 100 to 125 is a big variation. Last year, that's the 2020 IFT paper. That's for the batch of 2020, 2022. That IFT paper, the cutoff ended 123 marks. Okay, so although the cutoff actually was 123, but it was given as 138 because 15 marks was given as grace points in that particular exam. But last year the cutoff went pretty low because of a lot of other factors, and also the exam being conducted late. And a lot of people were already involved with interview preparations and stuff like that. So this time we are going to look at 700, 100 to 125 for the general candidate students too. Now, how do you prepare for IFT? First and foremost, QA section. QA section is arithmetic heavy, which means there's a lot of question coming from arithmetic. About 40 to 50% of the paper is going to be arithmetic. Out of last year's paper had about 11 questions from arithmetic alone. And out of 25 questions, 10 to 12 questions you can expect from arithmetic part. The next heaviest paper part of the paper is geometry. And geometry, you will see a lot of questions from mensuration. So brush up your mensuration. You will find questions from cylinders, cones, sphere, questions related to cubes, so on and so forth. And you will also see few questions related to properties of circle, property of quadrilaterals, and property of triangles. So geometry is one part. The second highest number of questions you can see is in geometry. Third is in algebra, 3 to 4 questions in algebra. You can expect a log question, a question from quadratic roots. You can expect questions from linear or linear equations or inequalities, right? And then modern maths, permutation, combination, probability, 3 to 4 questions. Numbers, HCF, LCM, divisibility, remainders, 3 to 4 questions. So, okay, so that's a typical breakup. Arithmetic heavy paper, nothing much to be done if you are already preparing for CAT, and you are going to look forward to cracking this examination by only doing mocks if you are preparing very strongly for the CAT exam, because this paper is much easier than the CAT, and the arithmetic questions are it's an arithmetic heavy paper. So which means if you are prepared really well for your CAT exam, you just have to focus on your mock. After the CAT is over, do some 4 mocks after the CAT exam, and you should be having your QA section in place. Only thing is you need to manage your time well in the IFT paper. We'll talk about it as we go along with the mock taking as we go along with the to the end of this section. Now comes the LRDI section. LRDI has 2 parts, the DI and the LR. Now DI typically you'll have 16 to 18 questions, and then you have logical reasoning 12 to 14 questions. Now logical reasoning is one of the most easiest part of LRDI section of IFT. You have linear arrangement questions, circular arrangement questions, distributions. You may get single questions which are based on series, alphanumeric coding, and then puzzles, Venn diagrams, set theory. So if you are prepared for NMAT and the CAT, you should be able to crack the LR section without any problem. You don't have to do anything extra out there. And in the data interpretation part, you get tables, pie charts, bar charts, line graphs, and you may also get combinations of any of these. So now the data interpretation part is typically quite a lot of numbers. You will find a lot of calculation, or you can even look when you actually do the mock, you'll also understand that IFT papers DI, although has got calculation, there are a few questions which you can look at and have an understanding of how to proceed by just observing the question. Okay, so do the mocks and you will understand that. But having said that, logical reasoning is where you will bank on to clear on the cutoff of LRDI, and that's what most of the people do. So you're going to crack the logical reasoning section by spending a reasonably good time on the logical reasoning section, and then go on to the data interpretation section, and then look at solving some questions from there. Overall, you're going to look forward to getting at least a minimum of 20 marks in this section. That's 6 to 7 questions that you're going to do, correct? And if you are strong at this section, you're going to go forward and crack this section. So you're going to spend more time and probably crack more sets of logical reasoning questions and more DI questions which are given to you. Now see, this particular session is not a strategy session of how you're going to do the LRDI paper. So I'm going to conduct another session on how to strategize your mock, which will come later on. But as of now, we are going to only look at, what the examination pattern is all about and what are you going to prepare right now so that, you can crack this exam. So if you have already prepared for CAT and NMAT, there is no additional preparation required here for LRDI section also. Okay. And you are going to focus only on the mocks after the CAT examination. So basically LRDI and QA section, you have to do nothing. If you have already been preparing for the NMAT and the CAT paper, CAT is on 28th. I'm sure all of you are at the final stages of your preparation, and that should be good enough. If you're really well prepared for CAT, you're going to crack the IFT exam as well. But in the VRC section, you will find a little bit of change out there because compared to the NMAT paper or the IFT paper, the way you look at this paper is slightly different. Last year's paper had about 16 questions in the reading comprehension, which had 4 reading comprehension last year. And the reading comprehension in IFT is extremely easy. You have a lot of questions which are factual questions, direct factual questions from the passages. Passages are very simple to read, and these passages have direct questions to answer. So a lot of people spend time in doing the RC as compared to how you tackle an NMAT paper or CAT paper where you have to do the entire part of the paper to crack the examination. Here we are not going to do that. You're going to pick up the RCs and finish off the RCs and do all the factual questions there and probably move on, because vocabulary, grammar, parajumble and paracompletion is not going to take a lot of time anyway in this paper. Okay, so vocabulary will include analogy, it will include root words, it will include direct antonyms and synonyms. You have grammar, which will include error correction. You may also get sometimes questions based on preposition. You will have parajumble, which are based on 4-sentence, 5-sentence or 6-sentence para-completion, and you sometimes also encounter questions related to para-completion or para-summary. But it's a RC heavy paper. It's a vocabulary heavy paper. So which means you need to pick, what you want to do in this paper. So if you're really good in English, you're going to spend a little bit more time on this paper and maximize your score. If you think you are maths and LRD are your strong areas, then probably you're going to spend your time judiciously in your VRC section to maximize your score before you go on to the other 2 sections. Okay, so strategizing part, as I said, we'll come back to in another video where we're going to discuss about it. So no additional preparation required here too if you are already prepared for NMAT. Why? Because parajumbles, paracompletions you have already done for CAT, reading comprehension you have done for CAT, and this is of a much lower level. Vocabulary and grammar you must have done for NMAT already, isn't it? So there is no additional preparation required for VRC section if you have already prepared for the NMAT or the CAT examination. If not, then you're going to sit and now prepare for your grammar and vocabulary, which means during the CAT, you will have to pick up your grammar book, start working on grammar, do a lot of grammar exercises, pick up vocabulary book and start mugging up your vocabulary. If you've already mugged up vocabulary, written your NMAT and you have done with it, then you can wait till CAT, let the CAT get over. The last 1 week, you can sit and prepare for your vocabulary part. If it is, something that we are looking forward to prepare during this current period when you are actually also preparing for CAT, one of the sections that you should definitely consider preparing for IFT is the GK section. Now, GK involves static GK and current affairs. So expect about 12 to 13 questions in static GK. Expect about 5 to 8 questions in current affairs. Last year's paper was static GK heavy. So what is static GK? You have capitals, currencies, longest river, largest river, highest mountain, all these kind of questions. You have sometimes business questions related to logos, punchlines, CEOs of companies, current affairs related to whatever has happened in the last 1 year. Okay, so prepare current affairs from January to October 2021. And you are also looking forward to static GK topics, which includes questions related to business and economy also. So you need to start your preparation today for GK, because this is the only preparation that is required if you're already prepared for CAT and NMAT. Okay, because here then you're going to spend your rest of the time, probably the next 25 days preparing GK for the next, for every day, probably for half an hour to 1 hour, correct? So that's what you look at. And you can do some GK test online, plenty of tests available online, so you can go through and do that. Now, where do you get these GK resources? On the Grad Square website, where the link I have shared in the description, I put up a GK preparation module. So every day we are updating it. You'll see the first 3 updations which are already there, and the rest of the updation will keep happening every day. So I'm every day going to give you one topic to work on. 25 days, you will have 25 topics to work on. You have January to September month for which, you need to prepare the current affairs. So each month's current affair will also be put up there in the due course of time, correct? If you don't want to wait for that, you can actually pick up a current affairs study material. You can go for the Manorama yearbook, or you can go for CSIR yearbook, or you can go for probably a Pratyogita Darpan to actually go ahead and read current affairs from there. Or you can visit plenty of sites which are available, which are giving you free current affairs update on their website itself, right? You can also look at monthly current affairs update in some of these websites which are there. Like, for example, if you have a login ID of some of the coaching centers, then those will also be having the monthly current affairs update out there, right? You can also look for mock papers of old IFT papers, which are old mock papers, old IFT papers, and for static GK, you can practice that, understand how much you can score. And GK topics of static GK topics, I'm putting on the description. You can have a look at it, read through, and understand what kind of topics are asked. Typically, it's quite a long list, because you have inventions, you have things like books and authors, you have the United Nations, so many things that they ask. They have India specific, like state capitals, chief ministers, governors. They may ask you about the general facts about India as a country, dances, festivals, so on and so forth. So it can be anything. But so I'll put a list, an exhaustive list as much as I can be, pick up and put there for you, so that will be helpful for you to go through and prepare. Okay. So this was about the preparation for IFT examination. I'm going to come out with how to strategize for your IFT paper. Now, strategizing for IFT paper is very important, because unlike your CAT, where you have a sectional timing, there's no sectional timing in IFT, and you need to use your time very judiciously. And you can look forward for that video. I'm going to discuss in detail as to how you're going to plan out your time and what is the ideal time for each section that you need to allocate, so that you can crack this exam and get into the interview room, right? And probably have a high score on IFT, so that you can also get into the final selection merit list and get into the college, right? IFT is a very good institution to get into, and all of you should take this exam seriously. And average salaries of IFT go at around 20+ lakhs, so which is a sought after college, with almost all the top companies visiting the campus to pick up people. So make sure that you're prepared really well, and look forward for spending from 29th onwards to 5th, when your IFT exam is going to happen, about 4 to 5 mocks that you can take during that time for IFT. I would suggest you that during this course of time, when you're preparing for CAT, pick one IFT mock and write that, so that you have an understanding of what to look forward to. And when you're doing your current affairs preparation, that will also be of help to you, right? So make sure that you do that. And then after that, you can probably pick up another 4 more mocks and strategize yourself as to how you're going to crack this examination after the CAT examination is over. Right. So that's all for today. Thank you so much. You can look forward to my strategy session on IFT, which we'll be uploading in the next 1 week's time. And start preparing GK, very crucial, so that you get going with your GK preparation. The rest of the thing, if you're already been preparing with CAT and NMAT both, and you finished off your NMAT too, then probably you're already prepared for IFT. So there's nothing much to look forward to in IFT anyway after that. Okay. So it's only about mock taking and strategizing yourself to crack that, right? So thank you all of you, and please do like and subscribe the channel, and I'll come back with the IFT strategy session in the next 1 week's time.